from Psalm 49. Hear this, all you people. Give heed, all who dwell in the world, men both low and high, rich and poor alike. Why should I fear in evil days the malice of enemies who surround me, men who trust in their wealth and boast of the vastness of their riches? For no one can buy his own ransom or pay a price to God for his life. The ransom of the soul is beyond us. We cannot buy life without end, nor avoid coming to the grave. With the morning, the outward show of riches vanishes and the grave becomes their home. But God will ransom me from lasting death and take my soul to himself. In his riches man lacks wisdom. He's like the beasts that are destroyed. And so we pray in the words of the letter to the Romans, who will separate us from the love of Christ? Trial or distress, or persecution, or hunger, or nakedness, or danger, or even the sword? Yet in all this we are more than conquerors because of him who has loved us. Amen. Welcome to Early Rise. I'm Ronnie Thwaites, and Pearnel Charles will join me later. Not by bread alone do we live. The musicians chant, show us a way to go. It's amazing how the popular music in Jamaica is inspired by the scriptures. Yeah? The words and the designations may change, yeah, but it's clear where the inspiration is coming from. And that's good. That's part of our culture. It's part of our history too. There you go. Early Rise, a space where we reflect and connect with you at home and abroad. That's what the Bridge does, you know. It's unique as a media platform to link Jamaicans all over the world. This program starts this early so that we can catch the time zones of some of our major listeners far away. It's repeated and available to you all over the world. The Bridge 99 1.3579 on the FM dial and live streaming www.thebridge99fm.com. Can I give you that again? www.thebridge99fm.com. I repeat it because I don't want to swallow my words. Many of those who read the news and who speak on the radio, they swallow their words and are not easy to understand. Yes, so that's the skill that we have to develop. You can call us 876-676-4996, and the Bridge 99 WhatsApp and text line is 876-551-5782. Well, the weather in Jamaica is reported today to be partly cloudy, island-wide, with windy conditions along the north coast. Pretty ordinary forecast for today, but there we are. It's warm, it's balmy, it's cool, all at the same time in Jamaica today. It's 11 minutes past 5 o'clock. It's Wednesday morning. It's the 16th of February. Well, just to give you a prips of the news, both newspapers, the Daily Gleaner and the Daily Observer, concentrate their headlines on a fight that seems to be developing about the issuance of guns in Jamaica. This is legal, not illegal guns, the legal ones. Who gets the guns, who has been, although of disreputable character, able to get the guns is the issue. Gun racket, it's called. Can you believe that? In a country that is distressed by high levels of crime, over $100 billion a year, we're told, we rob from each other. Can I say that again? Over $100 billion we rob from each other because of the guns we drudge and the way we use it to take and to demean life, to create panic, to engage, to depress commerce, to forego entertainment, schooling, all the good things of life. Yeah, we have a racket going on. It is said, or has been going on, though this is disputed, in the Firearms Licensing Authority. Well, I think you know my position. I'm for the disarming of the society. None but the security forces should normally carry a weapon. The licenses that are issued, you hear about man get 4 gun license. What you can do with 4 gun license? 4 gun license mean 4 guns. Yeah, where you do that? What is the gun for? Where you use it? One on Monday, one on Tuesday, what? No, come on now. This. And this is being done by a government agency. I don't care which political party appointed the directors of the Firearm Licensing Authority. If that is true, yes, then not only is there a racket, but also there's something wrong with the heads, yes, the sense of liberty of the people who were involved are involved. So this big expose now that was given yesterday at a press conference, not one arrest, not one prosecution, okay, over all these years where a criminal could have come out of jail and be deported, and deportees could have get gone. Okay, so why? Who you expect to believe that? And then we now hear a threat of libel suit from this person who was on the board and say, I know him, or he told I did it the right way. But they're not going to the fundamental issue. Why is it that we need to arm ourselves to kill each other, to kill somebody else? Why? Because they have the same thing that we have, the gun. And because we are so witless and hapless in terms of preventing the illegal gun or the misuse of the legal gun, so to speak. Right? So we find ourselves now in a situation where even when we have law and regulation about it, a holy chicanery and corruption go on. And at the end of the day, are we safer for the issuance of all these guns, or are we more in jeopardy? The matter speaks for itself. Over 1,000 Jamaicans killed. Yeah, a number of people living in fear because somebody who have something over them, some power over them, have a gun. Yeah. A gun is meant to kill. Look at that sadness, absolute sadness over the weekend. I wonder if people in the diaspora heard of it, of a policeman who comes home, put down his gun, and a relative in his house, a young teenager, use it, shot himself. Happens so many times. When are we going to put down the weapons of war and take up the plowshares of peace? What's the use of singing all the Bible songs and Jah will take care of us and no man can live on bread alone? And then what we do is to arm ourselves to the teeth. Yeah. The whole culture is wrong on that score. So if I was an investor coming into Jamaica, oh no, I'm really worried about even saying this. I'm thinking it through. But Jamaica needs people to come here amongst us. We need our diaspora to come home. We need people listening to us in England, Canada, United States, wherever, Europe, to think of this place as a place of beauty, of peace, of liberty. When you pack in your goods to come home, you don't have to bring an AK-47 or even a pistol. I don't know which one is which. Right. Why? Oh. And then look at the number of people coming back who we have invited back, who we want to come, and who are preyed upon and killed by this stratum of violence that exists amongst us. And some people say, so it must go. The only difference is who can get through the licensing process and who can't. And then now it turns out that the very licensing process, okay, is corrupt to the core. And the next man says, no, it's not corrupt to the core. but who not forget gun? Get gun. So how many legal guns we have versus how many illegal guns? Can you see any progress, any peace, any justice coming out of this situation which we have created for ourselves? I can't. All I see is increasing fear, paranoia, and death. That's what I see. Okay? So we can inveigh all we like, Mr. Police Commissioner and Mr. Minister. We can inveigh all we like about gangs and their gun culture. Okay? We can have the more maximum sentences and minimum sentences for possession of a gun. But there's a deeper mentality behind it. Why is it there? Why do people crave a gun? Some people, some men, can only assert their manhood if they have a gun in their pocket. How are we going to... Isn't it time, let me put it positively, isn't it time really that we change our mentality on this, that we teach our children the ways of peace rather than the way of armaments? Yeah. Is it beyond us to engage even those who are already infected by the lure, L-U-R-E, of the gun culture to change their ways? And if you're locking a man away for how much years for that, is it not important, since one day he may reemerge, or in any event he has people who are dependent on him who are going to relate to him whether he's in prison or not? Don't tell me otherwise. For God's sake, stop fooling yourself. Yeah, prison is porous. P-O-R-O-U-S. Yeah, that's the truth. Now, isn't it important that we should change that mentality? Do we have a Second Amendment in our Constitution like the United States that you can bear arms? This is not the Wild West, And if we behave as if it is in Jamaica, and we pit class and personality against one or another, then we are headed for destruction. So this what they call it, the headline of the Gleaner, gun racket. What the Observer calls it, I soon give it the headline again. Yeah. They have the gunfight. Is that? This is a serious issue to do with the psychology, to do with the spirituality, to do with the whole prospects of our society. Fancy the front page of the Observer. FLA, that's Firearm Licensing Authority, feud, F-E-U-D. Court action looms as Dalling and Meadows trade allegations of corruption at gun licensing agency. And the front page of the Observer, okay, next to the page with all the dress-up woman and naked woman. we're not ordinary, hardly. This is what we're showing our children, This is a good life. One picture, with one gun, and with a whole heap of bullet. And say, that man a fight about that. Yes? No, Jamaicans, wake up. Wake up to the dawn of Wednesday, the 16th of February. Wake up to the contrariness, to the fatal paradox of our mindset. Okay, so the issue now becomes a contest between two men, and probably others to be added to it, headed for the court as both men claim that their character and integrity are being besmirched. Well, that's not a good thing. But what I do know is that what is being more besmirched is the life prospects of a lot of our people. Okay? Our passion, our obsession with the gun is a fatal prospect for Jamaicans. Okay, how are we going to change this? Do we even want to change this? I can hear people already saying, hey, well, listen, deal with reality, no? The gun is part of our existence, eh? Oh, yes? Well, maybe the psalm that I read this morning was right, that we're all headed for the grave no matter what you have. And if you think the gun can protect you, you're making a big mistake, you see? Yeah. The other item in the news at 22 minutes past 5 is that the primary exit profile examination, that's a grade 6 examination, the successor to what most of our listeners abroad will remember as GSAT, or the one that even came before that, which was Common Entrance, okay, that the performance tasks have been cancelled for this year. Okay, and that is a big something, and it's wrong. Okay, it needed to be postponed. But if you don't test the children, how are you going to know? Why are you postponing it? Why are you canceling it? You're canceling it because of the obvious fact that the children have been out of school for the better part of 2 years and do not have the learning. Yes, I heard yesterday morning about the principal of one rural school who is having to ask the teachers to come in early and to teach the children who were reading in grade 3 and 4 before the pandemic. Teach them to read again because they backslide. They've lost the skill. And it's not that them rude or them dunce or them never try to get on with the data to the virtual learning. They have been out of school. If you take a child out of learning for this length of time, you have to do it over. This patch up, bitch up thing cannot work. And the evidence of that is that when you try it, imperfect remediation, yes, inadequate, given the recent return to face-to-face learning. Not even all schools are back with face-to-face learning, certainly not for full weeks. Yes? No fault of their own. Perhaps some stupidness and fears interplay, but we know the circumstances. Okay? So in this issue, at this time, what we have to know, water down their performance by telling them, okay, don't bother take the exam. Hey, examination, testing. You can argue about how frequently we do it and how effective, but they are designed in order to test a person's grasp of knowledge. And when you cancel it, what you're saying is, hey, you can't make it. You don't know enough. So when you cancel it, you think you improve the situation, please? Answer me. Now, when the kids, granted, there are other components to the examination which are there, but the thing that was put together is in fact intended to fit as a whole. You can't take out one piece of the PEP, cancel that, and say, but it's quite okay, we'll test you, and then of course we'll shunt you on to grade 7 in high schools. And then what happens? This thing is going to haunt us 5 years, 10 years, 50 years. And you know what it is? The people who are in charge of education know this. But we do not have sufficient confidence in ourselves to say no. What we need to do now is to stop and recalibrate this whole thing and make sure that the children have achieved the required level of competence. Not cancel the exam. Yes. Make sure that they are prepared for the exam, even if we have to keep them longer, keep them back. Oh, but we're all prepared for Easter holidays and for the long summer holidays. And I'm tired, Mr. Thwaites, I've got to keep my children home or go on my New York trip or whatever. Listen to me, you're fooling yourself. In the long run, these deficits and the measures, the imperfect measures that we are taking to redress them are going to cost us. And, you can protect yourself and you can remember what are your rights and how all of your needs. But if you sample yourself, it's a really bad thing, And where you're doing this in a way that is going to hold back a generation of children. They don't know the significance of your cancelling the PEP performance. They don't know that. They're glad that they're not being asked to take an exam which they're utterly unprepared for, the majority. Okay? But then, what is being done to make up for that, I ask? And please don't tell me about a few coaches for a covey of schools and that we're going to do a test, a psychological test. Yeah, do all of that now, but it needs much more than that. And this is a central issue that is facing Jamaica now. And may I, just before we break, we have to connect it with the gun business, Yeah? Because, hear me now, if you do not offer our children a proper education, if you do not engage them in ways that they become strong morally and they become strong academically and vocationally, then they are more likely to turn to patterns of life that rely upon the gun. Legal if you have money and if you have standing and if you have if you have somebody in the organization who can give a blind, because that is what they're saying, Everybody make money out of the Lego permits. Yeah. Natty Dread. No, let me not say that, because Natty Dread is a strong cultural and sometimes religious adjectives. Yes, but get a boy, right, who can't afford them things. Him go to jail for 15 years and 25 years. But the same guy who have a party in the FLA, him can get the money, him can get the license. So when police stop him just flash him license and him go on. And that is justice? No, Jamaica, that's not justice. Yes? You're missing the fundamentals of what it is to respect life, to cherish the humanity, the divinity of each one. Yeah. God didn't make mistakes, it's we mess it up. Let's be clear on that. And therefore, there's a close connection, I argue, between what we're doing and not doing in education. And I'm not blaming anybody. Yes? I bear some responsibility because, well, but we have to face up to ourselves. This is what we do on the bridge. There's no point saying to our people abroad, all the pretty things about Jamaica. Governor General's speech, pretty up, you see? Cha. Yes? Face the reality that we have. Honesty, a sense of justice. Our national spirit demands that we face the realities of our time. This morning we're talking about the gun culture, and we're talking about the education samphire that we are bestowing upon ourselves. Yes? Right. That's what we do. We talk it straight on Early Rise and on Public Eye later. Because if we can face each other with honesty, with realism, discomfort maybe, disagreement sometimes, but not such as to break the fundamental unity of thinking, of conclusion, and of action. Yes. So when I see everybody saying, no, we're glad because the PEP performance test is cancelled because they couldn't make it, you can't put a full stop after that. You have to say, then what's next? And what's next doesn't cut it. Oh my. Let's pick up more optimistic topics when we come back on the Early Rise. This is The Bridge, 99 FM. Wednesday morning in Jamaica. Welcome to the Early Rise on The Bridge. Welcome to our listeners all over the diaspora and in Jamaica. And welcome and good morning to the Honourable Pearnel Charles Sr.
Good morning, Mr. Thwaites, and good morning to all our listeners in England, in Canada, in the United States.
Very well, sir.
And, of course, in Jamaica.
In Jamaica, too. I see you brought the Gleaner with you. Could you open it for me, sir? Tell me what the headline says.
Gun racket.
Gun racket. Does that make you proud as a Jamaican?
Unveiled firearm license corruption ring at the FLA.
Yeah.
And somebody saying, what is this teletalk? No.
Tell me what your reaction to that is.
Well, I haven't read it yet, but what is bothering me, Ronnie, is the whole society.
Yes.
And as somebody used to say, who's watching the policing?
Yeah. Who guards the guardian?
The policing of what is to be good. Mm-hmm. Whether it is anti-this or pro-this. Mm-hmm. I mean, society is in a serious state.
Yeah.
And I want to say, as many will say, some of us are well aware of what is happening around us. And I'm prepared to say it's not the politicians alone, it's not the police alone, it's not the pastors alone. And I use 3 Ps.
Okay.
Because there has been some in all of this. Yes. None of us, no part of the society, seem to be excluded from this mess.
Yeah. So why we put
who's going to watch the watchman?
Right. So well, the press is the 4th P, and the press seems to be the one who is prominent in this instance, because the people at the Firearms Licensing Authority found it necessary to hold a press conference.
Yes.
Okay, and but it boils down to what is a personal feud between some of the people involved as to who done it. Yes?
Yes.
One man says the gentleman there says he's defending his reputation.
Yes.
And the one who was there before is saying, no, I'm defending my reputation.
Yes.
But then there is, as you're putting it, a more fundamental issue about the society.
Yes.
Now, this is not a smiling matter at all, but Mr. Charles, why do we need so much gun in Jamaica? Legal or illegal?
Well, Ronnie, you're aware why we need it? Let me tell you. Because it is frightening to see what damage, what destruction is being done to the innocent section of our society.
Right.
Not necessarily to those who can get a gun. Right?
So
the gun is really a terror. Just a thinking, just a thought of your coming in, you expect that.
So think philosophically with me, sir. If that is the case, who can deny what you've just said? Then the logical extension is that the best antidote is to have more and more of the weapons of terror, so that you can defend yourself against a person who has a similar or a greater weapon of terror.
That can be the answer. The opposite of that is there should be no gun there.
Well, that's my view. I'm a pacifist.
Yes.
Yes, except for the security forces.
Except you're aware.
Yeah.
That's a pacifism.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen on this earth.
No, it won't happen right now. But you must set policies that lead you eventually to a reduction of the armed détente. And let me not use the word détente. The armed Cold War, which every once in a while, over 1,300 times in Jamaica every year, boils over into actual violence. And in fact, it's much, much more than that, as you know.
But Ronnie, that is why to get a gun in Jamaica, you have to go through hell.
Apparently not.
I'm telling you.
Apparently not.
Well, some people don't work.
Right.
But they get money.
So, brethren, hear me now.
How they get money?
Hear me now, sir.
And if you get them a job, they ask you, that's a night dinner.
No, we understand that. You've told us, and I share that with you.
But go with the gun. Because I was trying to say, if you say to a man, if everybody who are licensed give up the gun, they are not the total problem.
No.
They have it because of the man who is unlicensed and have an M16.
Really?
And is coming for you.
You think that's the only reason?
No, that's one of the reasons.
That's one of the reasons, clearly.
The comfort in having a gun. Some people have never fired it.
The comfort in being able to kill. Oh, my Lord.
No.
That we defend? Look here.
But that is also, you have a license to drive a vehicle. And you get a license.
Yeah.
The comfort that if you hit somebody and they die, you're a licensed driver. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, for many other reasons.
So it's not that you get a license to kill. But if you bone somebody and they die and you didn't have the authority from
your guilt would be greater.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if somebody break into your house, right, and he has a gun.
Yeah.
First thing you say, if I had a gun, I would defend myself.
Well, look at
and it's not always true.
No, look at Keith Clark. Look at Mr. Keith Clark in 2010. He had a gun, yes, and soldiers shot him to death the other night.
A whole heap of people have a gun, and they're either in a shootout or never get a chance to draw.
The elderly gentleman was reported. I don't remember his name. I'm so sorry for him. He's a gun holder, and he hears a rustling outside his door. And he goes out, sees somebody move, fires a shot, and who him kill? His own son.
Well, these are incidents that you cannot use to judge the whole society. But it guides you as what we need to do or we shouldn't have been doing. And I will agree with you. If there was no unlicensed gunman, there would be no need for licensed gunmen.
So, no, a lot of people wouldn't agree with you,
Well, they don't have to, but let's reason it out.
On what basis?
Why do you seek to have a gun?
On what basis do if the reports in the press are correct, when you read them, On what basis is there does a person get 4 gun licenses? And we have one of our members here on the bridge who is saying that their man 4 is a small number. Some man have all 12 gun.
Yes,
what is that?
Yes, because the authority is going to say he is qualified to get a gun.
Qualified how? Qualified to kill?
Well, but
the philosophy is wrong.
The man who gets a gun does not get a gun to go and kill.
What do you get it from?
He gets a gun to prevent being killed.
Oh, you know what I know?
Hold on, don't pass us.
Okay, sir.
He says the reason I'm getting a gun is to prevent somebody from coming to kill me, to defend myself.
So since self-defense is the
order of the day,
a natural, reasonable aspiration for everybody, then you will end up agreeing with Delroy Chuck that what we need to do is to train people and give everybody a gun.
Well, the opposite of that is also true.
No, you deal with the opposite. Don't take me to the opposite until you deal with the thing. Is our future?
It's because I cannot defend the present without looking at
the future, he says, as I understand him, I don't want to misinterpret him, but the future is, his view and others, is that, look here, everybody ought to, just like the Americans, everybody ought to have the right to have a gun because you need to protect yourself.
All right. So why do you think the unlicensed gang, terrorists, criminal, or some people who are not criminal, they have an unlicensed gun? Same thing to say, I tried to get a license, I can't get a license, and I'm afraid somebody broke into my yard, so I got an illegal gun. Right? I will not have to use it unless somebody come into my house. Right. I am not one going to break down a man's yard or rape a woman or thief or take a little child and kill them. Right? That is there. You cannot move that because of the state of the society.
So then, what you do is concede the putrid state of the society, okay? The justifiable fear of the householder for his life or for his family, etc. And you arm each one of us to the teeth. And therefore, we end up with a society. Some call it progress, some call it prosperity. You know.
What's the opposite of that, Ronnie?
The opposite of that is a completely different spiritual, political, security reality that you don't get tomorrow because we are deep in it. Yes? The slave master.
So how do you get to that society when a gang society is saying we're going after Thwaites, him have some money? Or we're going after him because I'm a fool around somebody and we get the money if we take him. Right?
You can't have that. That's why you have a security.
But you can't control that part of the society, right?
No, so therefore, because we have a
society you can control it, me and you.
Yeah, but sir.
You can reason with me and you.
Look where your argument is taking you. Your argument is taking you into a spiral, an abyss of violence and death. Now, some people are prepared to say, look here, I don't business with all your philosophical arguments and your talk about life. It's my life I defend. Yeah. And if I need 12 guns to defend it, boy, you know better give me that gun or else I go and get it. Yeah. That is the attitude that I have picked up during my public life in many parts of deprived parts of Jamaica. I won't call it the inner city, okay? And that's a mentality that's there. If you are likely to have a gun, then what I must have is a bigger gun.
There are two mentalities there that I have found. If I am to go and get something from society, because I don't have nothing, I have to get a gun to take it from the who have it. And if the man here says, you're coming to take it from me, I have to get a gun to prevent you come and take it. So I don't know. But I don't know how you're going to get away from that mentality, which is at the top, the middle, and the bottom.
So I have to be very personal with you and me. What would you tell your grandchildren about guns? Grow up quick and we'll take you to the range and teach you how to use the gun and make sure you get a licensed gun and keep it under your pillow.
Well, Ronnie, if the society...
No, I want to know.
Hold on. If the society continues as it is, that you can be at work and hear somebody kicking on the door, Daddy. And him is coming in and we see him have a
That's what you need.
what would you say? Run under the bed?
No.
Why you say take a knife to face the gunman?
No, hold. I give you all those situations.
Yeah.
I concede.
But I give you yours, you know. I gave you yours to say if all that I have presented wasn't there, there'd be no need for it.
Okay, but then...
And we have gunless society.
Okay, sir. But then we could look at the social dynamics here, because we're not able to find who brings the guns into the country.
That's what?
We're not able to find out who brings the guns into the country. There has been no... correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. And anybody listening to us, correct me. Yes? There has been no significant prosecution of a gun runner in this country for years.
Put it this way.
We are told...
Put it this way. The authorities have never caught or have never told us that they know.
Yeah.
But gun can walk, come at Jamaica.
No, we know that.
Gun can come in a barrel.
No, but hi.
Or come in a boat and drop off on here.
Exactly. So when the police tell me that and congratulate themselves, and there's good in it, that they've retrieved 100 illegal guns.
Yes.
Over since January.
Yes.
And this is only February.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad that they have, because each one is disastrous. But I have a number of other questions.
Yes.
First of all, what happens to those guns? How do you prevent them from recycling into the underworld? And don't tell me that doesn't happen. Right? One. Two, tell me again, how did those guns come into this country? What background have you been able to check? And if you haven't, why? What is your competence if you can't do that? Difficult though it is. All right? And thirdly, what is the demand factor? Is the demand factor the self-protection that courses through the society that the Honorable Pearnel Charles is outlining? Yes, people worrying about who broke in your house and you can't go under the bed.
But that's only one part. Huh. There's the other side which says, I want a gun for go get something.
Yes, sir.
Either go get a woman.
So what is it?
Or for go get a contract from a man.
You know how much woman.
Or for go thief.
You know how much girlfriend, how much wife, yes, are where they are.
Yeah.
Yes? Because the man who they depend upon or who they think they love, have one gun on them pill at night time, So you can't tell him nothing.
Yeah, but hold on. Do you know how many women are sleeping by themselves? No. Because a gunman killed the man who was sleeping with them.
I know that. But then you see...
You know how many, how many investors have had to run? How many children are without fathers and mothers because they are killed?
Yes, sir. So what is the answer?
Well, you and I know what the answer is.
No, but
you have just presented a religious thing.
No, it's more than religious. It's very practical.
Of course, it's not practical, Ronnie. It is not practical.
It's not practical to reduce the level of guns in the society.
You're not going to get away with that one.
I'm going to.
It's not practical to tell a man
Listen up,
that you
Diaspora.
hold on, you have 450 gangs.
Yeah.
Which is nearly what, 25,000.
And how much we're having more?
Hold on.
Are they going down or going up?
Hold on. And you just mentioned some this morning that if they don't get back in school and they graduate without being able.
So these are what we're talking about.
Hold on. And they don't have the education to get the job, but they want the money.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a way to get it. Wait till the man and lock him shop at night, or wait for the man whom he say go a bank, right? So it is almost war. It's a war society.
Well, I tell you.
And I don't know that any of the generals are prepared to see. Remember, I said to you, if I were minister, and the police tell me that they have counted 455 gangs in Jamaica.
Up from 200 last time.
Up to what?
Up from 200 plus last time.
Right. So therefore, they must know 450 gang leaders.
One would hope.
Man, if you know says a gang, you know says one eye or big mouth or grey head.
Mr. Charles, okay, I take your point. But then no, look at what is coming out. Let's go back to the gun thing related. Yes? Because this gun racket is going on, where man can come out of jail, can come from deportee, yes, can be of questionable character and get one license or maybe multiple licenses. That is what Mr. Darling is telling us, okay? And not one arrest, not one staff member, not one of those running the gun racket, yes, are brought before the court. You must be joking.
Hold on, Ronnie. Let the both of us.
They have settlements raised.
Let the both of us.
To leave their employment.
Let the both of us.
We pay them money for that.
Let both of us take a stand this morning. The authorities have been challenged. This is a great challenge, not to Andrew Honest alone, not to the Commissioner of Police alone.
You're always
to
trying to
all
that.
of us. Mm-hmm. This is a great
Well, that's what
challenge.
we've been discussing.
Yes.
And my discussion is that if you have more arms, you're going to get more gangs. Yes.
And my discussion is that you cannot, at this stage, disarm the society. It is.
But remember, you mustn't caricature my view, because I'm not saying at this stage, but I'm saying you must move in that direction.
But Ronnie, hold on.
Instead of which we are apparently, from the news in the papers this morning, we're moving in the opposite direction.
No, there are 10,000 more people applying for gun who can't get it.
Yes, sir. So
if you have 10,000 people,
so I want to know what is in the Jamaican mentality and what is in the future of our country. Yes,
I have already told you. There are two elements.
Yeah.
There's the Ronnie Thwaites element, which says, I nearly indict myself. But let me say, Mr. X.
Yes, sir.
Don't have no education.
Yes, sir.
But he want a big house, and he want a big car,
right,
and he want to know who have money.
Yes, sir.
And he must go for it.
Yeah.
He need an M16.
Yeah. Well,
And he represents a major part of the society.
Right. So it is classism.
So they move from, move from flinging rockstone,
right,
flinging bottle, pushing knife, to what?
God.
Send to Diaspora and say, Mommy, don't worry, send no food in a barrel this time. Send her money because things so bad there, we have to get a gun to protect ourselves.
Yes, sir.
To protect ourselves,
Yeah.
Not to go and look for Mr. Thwaites, say him money, and Mr. Charles, and take cut him off.
But I'm acknowledging the scenario that you're painting.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, what is your therapy?
And
the therapy, the best therapy?
No. I have a therapy, but I have to go and make it presentable for you, because you are a serious judge, and all the present you have an answer to it. Except one that you have to tell me how you're going to manage it. You cannot, at this stage, disarm the society.
I didn't say that.
There's fear.
Yeah.
There is unrighteousness. There's wickedness. There is gangism. There is thiefism.
Yes, sir.
There's every isms that are possible.
Yes, sir.
And the gun is not the only thing.
No.
But the gun is the most dangerous.
Well, something's wrong with the mind.
The mind?
Yes.
Well, of course, Ronnie.
So where are we dealing with that, sir? This is why in my little time this morning, which is so precious, which I presume so much to say so much in, I see the link between the miseducation that is going on, the cancellation of the PEP performance, for example, as connected with this gun thing. Because when you fail to educate, when you fail to deal with the reality of undereducation caused by
that's a better word,
Yes.
I don't like when I say fail to educate, because we have tried to educate.
Sure. But all right, undereducating. Use your words. Unless we face that, all you're going to have later on, as night follows day, is the acceleration, the aggravation of the state of mind and the pattern of behavior that leads us to become armed camps, and leads inevitably to rackets, because Jamaica find racket in everything. Yes? And do we need more evidence than what we have every year of the destruction, $100+ billion?
Don't ask it as a question, make it as a statement, and I join you.
Yes, sir.
We don't need more evidence.
And so
we have seen it.
Yes, sir.
We have
and with the
we have been
connectivity.
living in a society with that.
Yes.
And when we look around, there is absolutely no indication that is disappearing.
No.
It is increasing.
So, sir, before we take the break, I come back to where we are. Yes. This is so serious a problem. It goes to the shedding of blood.
Yes.
The flourishing of life or the diminution of life. Yes. That I would have expected Mark Golding and Andrew Holness to have said, we need a special sitting, whether it's at Vale Royal under construction or National Stadium or Gordon House or God knows King's House.
You call the right place.
Yes.
The people have elected us to go to Gordon House.
Right.
And we need to go to God knows, representing the whole country.
So this is not. But what
to
is going
discuss the
on?
matter.
But what happened yesterday? Understandably, in the Parliament, in the committee that Dr. Chang is in, is we are looking to increase the maximum penalties for illegal possession of firearm, while we are dealing with a gun racket.
That's
Yes?
part of it.
Oh God.
The gun racket is part of the illegal thing.
So I beg your pardon, sir. So that is what is going on. There is a fullness of discussion about the problem that you and I are analyzing here, that you have stated so clearly. Is getting worse? No. We're dealing with the fringes, important fringes, but we are not dealing with a central issue that we do not find a way yet. We do not find a united basis to live together as people.
I'm going to tag you on that one. Give me, in a few seconds, what do you think is the way to correct that right now?
Right now. Continue what is going on in Parliament about the enhanced penalties.
Yes.
2, begin a deep discussion, not a short one, a deep discussion about how we're going to unite our people, yes, towards an ethic and a liberty of peace and justice.
That has been going on, Ronnie.
No.
You have been a party to that, walking every Sunday morning and talking to others,
Yes.
even Adventists,
Sure.
watch your radio chain going up, because you've been summoning our heart.
Have we done it as a
our
nation?
mind.
Have we done it as a nation?
Ronnie, could I tell you some people trying it? But even in that group of trials,
Yeah.
we have a problem.
Yes. Well, we have problems. And I want to ask our listeners and ourselves after we come back, are we in fact, is it, because this would, for me, would be the consuming discussion of the nation, and it is not. When we come back on the early rise, my goodness, what excitement this morning. That song, Bridge Nation, Gun Town by Morgan Heritage. All right? So what I want, Mr. Charles, on the early rise, I would like that to be the theme song played in Gordon House, just as it is on the early rise on the bridge, courtesy of Audley. Yes? I would like them to listen to those lyrics, the connection with no food to eat, with poverty, with depression, and use that as a template. Every time they get distracted and start fight across the aisle, there should be no aisle in Gordon House, by the way. You know my feeling on that. I would like them, every time they get distracted and start fight Mr. Wemney, Dallin, and Mr. Meadows and their elected equivalents, okay? You bring up that song, play it again, and you understand the dynamics of a society that is hemorrhaging itself, it's shedding its own blood by this gun culture that we compromise and accept as being inevitable.
Well, there, in my opinion, is something that you have to initiate before you get there.
Yes, sir.
I think that the gun is not the hardest one to solve, because every birthday, your gun is not yours.
Oh.
Every birthday you have to go back to the gun people and be re-examined.
Oh.
And so therefore, if I were the minister, and all of this is so, I would give an order that when you come in, you have to be re-examined.
By whom? By the same people who run the racket?
No. That is something that you and I and the society ought to have agreed on. Who sits at the examination?
Right.
Who sits there? Don't tell me we have to give up everything.
No.
If we have to give up that, there's nobody in Jamaica.
No, I don't accept that. I agree with you.
Right?
Yes.
Then we finish.
Yes.
Right? But to me, just like if you say half of who have, I hear this nonsense about half of who have license to drive is buy it. But them going to renew it. You renew it.
Yeah, but it's true.
Eh?
It's true. You buy it.
So therefore,
the buying makes you get it legitimately. And as Mr. Darling is quoted as saying in respect of the guns, yes, a whole heap of people make money off the racket.
Yeah, same thing in the license.
Yes, sir.
Right? Some man has never.
So I would like at least let's have a discussion. You and I are trying to do it this morning in a very imperfect way. Yeah. But we're
trying to make a suggestion as to how we can solve this problem.
Yes, sir. But at least in Jamaica, let us talk about the unserviceability of a gun culture. Because
Yes.
we have a gun culture. That's what our previous half hour of discussion indicated.
Yes.
You're giving the reasons for it. I'm pointing out the pointlessness and
Yes.
danger of that. But let us at least start to decide that we can think of ways to depress it. Now, I acknowledge that having suitable penalties as a deterrent for illegal possession of a firearm is part of that. What we're doing is making that the whole of it, which it can't help.
No, but there's another angle. There's 5 fingers on the fist.
Yes, sir.
There is a man who, if he didn't have to fight for survival,
Yes, sir.
fight to get some food,
Right. Gun Town,
Fight.
Morgan Heritage. That's what they're singing
right,
about.
right? He would need to have a gun for go hold up Mr. Tom.
No, sir.
To take away Mr. Tom. There's a man who have money, thief enough or get enough, want more, and is a one-eye boss. And him have so many gunmen who go out and bring in, right? So him is a banker.
Okay. But hold on, sir. When we're personal, we're never invidious, but we bring things home. Yes? Your son, the minister, makes a policy statement, puts forward a policy about a certain direction of trade.
Yes,
Yes? It's controversial.
yes,
It will affect some people
Yes.
positively, others not so negatively.
Yes.
Okay? And he is the subject of a threat and is told he must get another gun.
yeah, but
What damn foolishness is that? How you can run a society like that? How you can have economic discussion about on the basis of some threat like that? What a shame that is.
but that is what you are saying from the beginning.
Yeah.
Before you get to him,
Yeah.
you get to a woman in a special place, I won't call the name,
Yeah.
who come crying,
Yeah.
boss, you know, my daughter is 14 years old.
Yes, sir.
And you know, say, they done send come tell me say want to see her. You know what that mean?
I know what that means.
And if she not send him come, you know what that mean? He might have come for her.
Yeah.
Or
So,
come for
so
she.
don't you think then that at the highest level of policy, you were correctly, but saying earlier that it's not Mr. Holness's problem or Commissioner of Police problem. It's all of our problem.
No. I say it's not them
Alone.
alone.
Right, sir.
No,
Good.
no.
Correct
Don't,
me.
don't believe say they're nothing in.
No. So help me now. So why don't we start that discussion? Why don't we at least start it? Why don't we put it in the education system? Yes, I want in the schools that I have some responsibility for nowadays. Yes, I want to inculcate into the littlest children. Yes, a hatred of the gun, a love of life. Yes, and don't you ever this must become centerpiece. Why? As centerpiece as ABC and Times Table. Why? Because this is what is killing our society.
Yeah, but hold on.
Over $120 billion a year is the cost of the level of violence now, not to mention the huge cost. You know, you hear the business people talking about why they can't compete. It's the cost of security, all of them are saying. Why? Because we have because we are conceding to a gun culture, and therefore the banks, they are saying they have to raise the fees. Everything is everything, you know. They're saying they have to raise their fees because why? They must have 6 security guard here and 2 more there and whatnot, and it's causing their cost of business to rise.
Well, what I have discovered is
My
that
God.
one of the highest employment in the country is
So security guard. What a shame, sir. What a shame. Not because there's anything wrong with being a
No,
security
but
guard.
let me go back to your children.
Right.
How are you going to say to them, Don, you don't need a gun? And when them look through the gate,
I can only say that to them if, in fact,
if you clear the gate,
yes, sir. If I can say to them, yes, here's a security force which is free from corruption, which is not going to run a gun racket,
yes,
yes, and which is going to be reasonably available for you in times of your need. And you can add technology to that nowadays. It's very possible. It's far easier to protect yourself by other means. Yes? Horrible.
No, you can't tell them by other means. You have to say by which means.
Yes, I can say that.
Because they have their
Sure.
means. They have the
Alarms,
culture has given to
cameras, all those things that government speaks of.
Yes.
Yes. I also must say to them, yes, that this is a hard saying at this point, but it is one that is worthy of your acceptance, because the following is happening in the society. The circumstances in which Morgan Heritage speaks of youth having to take up gun are being ameliorated, are being changed intentionally. Investment, but resolutely, rather than the pitiful response of Path and Project Hope, all those good things which we or the charity we see on page 5 of the newspaper.
You said something last week, which I want to go back to.
Yeah.
Because all of what we are discussing now is almost an end result of what we never did. Almost an end result of when you were born, the environment in which you were born, the mother and father who was there to guide you, and not just few of us. Because even if the majority of us born in that environment and the minority doesn't, the minority threatens the majority. The majority sees the minority as a threat.
Okay,
they now arm themselves to prevent themselves from being destroyed from
that's
the
not
threat.
inevitable, sir. If you reach a point where people feel that there is some purpose in life and some hope for them, it is less likely that they will do that. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Yes?
Well, deal with the imperfection.
Sin abounds.
No, deal with the imperfection. Because even though the imperfection might be the minority, the threat of the imperfection makes the majority nervous.
No, I get that. And that's something that has to be confronted and has to be dissipated very, very resolutely, but it will be gradual. And there will be many, many dips and fallbacks. And let me tell you again, if you promote people in the education system, which is where formation takes place, without them learning properly, without them feeling that they can move ahead, you can go high school even though you never pass PEP, and not do you? That one day you will come out, yes? But Mr. Thwaites, could you get so-and-so into Campion for me, please? Or Casey, the PEP results poor, but he's a slow learner. Or she will soon pick up. Or her daddy isn't around and she's worried about that. Yeah? You cannot do those things. We have to base our progress, our life, our social life, our relationships upon firm foundations.
Ronnie, from a born,
yes, sir,
I can understand. That statement is being read to me or said to me.
Yes, sir. And you're an evidence of it meaning something to you.
Exactly, because why? I was privileged to born in August, and my mother and father got married in November. And I moved into a new house with mama and daddy.
Yes, sir.
And we started life before I could. I did whoop.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Okay.
So that's a privilege that many of us don't have.
One moment.
The father is out, and the mother is in.
So we're shredding it out now, and what we're saying is that those are desirable preconditions to a certain frame of mind.
Which probably the majority of society don't have.
Why?
When they don't ask why.
But I must ask why.
But you know why.
Well, but we as a society ignore it. We ignore it. We won't even, your government and the government that I served, won't even take the step of putting father's name on the birth certificate as a mandatory thing. So we deny.
No, but that is there now.
No, sir, it is not. 25 years I've been pushing for it and it can't reach.
And the reason for that is some fathers say it's not them.
So what?
And so you have to do a DNA.
So do that.
Okay.
So do that.
Well, listen.
No, come on.
No. No child can move forward with a one name on birth certificate. So therefore, I'm in full agreement with you that father and mother should be on the birth certificate.
Right.
But if the father says not him, then take steps.
But we never used to have those steps. No, we have it, but we refuse to use it.
No, you can't.
Yes.
You can't.
That was what Mr. Heroy Clark from St. James was trying to say.
Yes.
He never said it in a way that was acceptable.
Yes.
Okay? But what he really was getting at in the back of his mind was to agree that children need two parents, hopefully living together.
Yes.
Hopefully combining in whatever way. In order
Combining on the birth certificate, even they're not combine a yard.
Well, the birth certificate is just one step,
Yes.
because that's a commitment that has legal ramifications, and that is the first step towards a combination in all aspects of the child's upbringing.
Yes.
Yes. Now, there are many single parents who combine beautifully in their children's upbringing. God bless them.
Yes.
It's not the ideal.
No.
But Jamaica continues to accept that breakup of the African family structure, that was the heritage of slavery, that was the very norm of slavery, yeah? Because the black person was a chattel and could be sent anywhere. Their life, their sexuality, everything, their childbearing was a mechanistic issue. We have taken that up on ourselves now and said that this is the way we must live, become man free.
No, but let me ask you a question.
Good God.
Is that only a black people
No, sir.
problem?
No.
Is that only a Jamaican
No,
problem?
but no. In Jamaica, it is largely a black people's problem, but not by any means solely.
No.
Yes, not by any means solely. But so I'm dealing with that. Is it a worldwide problem? And we confuse that with liberalism. We confuse that with human rights.
Is it a worldwide problem?
Of course it is.
It is.
Yes, but we have
So you are advocating that close your eye to the world and take care of your business
take care
here.
of yourself. Do what is going to be best for you. If not for you, because you're
moving on.
Your itch may take you to scratch somewhere else.
Yes.
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 At least, do not allow your selfishness to compromise your children and compromise, therefore, the society.
Well, that you let the public know you are reading those last lines, and they're written by me and you.
Happily, I add my signature under yours. No, seriously.
Yeah, but
when I go to a basic school
could I
last
just
week,
say before you go to
Sure.
basic school, let the public know that both of us are aware that we are talking about what would be ideal, and we are aware of what we are living with, and we are aware of what we would like to see leave us, or we shouldn't die and leave behind.
but we're not taking the steps. We're not taking the steps.
Well, we better get a joke.
Well,
to move forward.
That's what we're trying. So, but I go to the basic school, yes, and the principal tells me that this child is not attending. Okay, we call the mother. The mother says she can't afford to send a picnic to school. So, have you applied for PATH? Yeah, PATH come, but my sister sent me on TV, so them say me no need it. Okay, be that as it may. Where's the child's father? He's not in the picture anymore.
Is what?
He's not in the picture anymore. Okay? Now, don't tell me that there's a problem or a problem is going to happen. A problem is happening right now.
Yes.
No.
And it was happening before.
Yeah.
It is continuing.
Yeah.
And what we are trying to do is say it shouldn't go on.
Yeah. No. Give credit to the fathers who are doing much better than they were 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. But you only need a minority. Yes. This is why the most
Minority to make it continue bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
You only need.
So do you think you can get the majority?
But
We should work towards that.
Sure.
Do you think
Sure.
we are going to reach a stage where every boy that reads 16 come out of school can read and write?
Yes. Entirely possible.
And he has more ambition of buying a house
Yeah.
and getting this and that
Yeah.
more than those who
Who have it already.
educate themselves to get it.
Yeah.
And how I'm going to say, boy, I have got to take it, you know.
So
I mean, I've got to take it.
So that is where our energies, our national energies, our leadership has to operate.
Yeah.
Yes. That is where they come in to say, no, this is not the way you're going to do it. Yes. If you do it, you're going to face a long prison sentence. Okay. Not decided by some law only, but by the discretion of the judge.
But in the beginning, Ronnie, that's what caused us to agree that there can be prisons.
Yes.
And there was a thing called hard labor, which I understand only happened in the court.
Yeah. or at Lenin.
Right? Because when you get 15 years at hard labor, you go down and live on my taxes.
Yeah.
watched color television.
I don't think so, but anyway.
What do you mean?
Prison is an awful place, so I don't know about the color television.
Prison don't have television.
I don't know.
You better understand that.
Yes, sir. But even so,
the hearts that men like you have want them to have.
I want them to be rehabilitated not because I have a bleeding heart, though I'm happy to have a bleeding heart. Scripture says I must have a heart.
I don't know if you're on Pearnel heart bleeding,
not
but
a heart of
stone.
I'm so happy to be in this company, but from a utilitarian point of view,
yes.
If you cause people to become more debased than they were originally when they had to be punished, what have you achieved?
I agree with that. But
and it costs you $1.5 million.
Where I disagree with you,
yes.
I think you are overlooking the practical situation.
Yeah, but the practical situation is what human intelligence and human wit and human power is supposed to deal with.
But the power can't be one-sided.
No, but the power... No, look here.
And that's why you need somebody to say, look, if you don't come with us, we're going to put you away for 15 years.
Look here. I'm accepting that, Only thing I think the person to do that is the judge.
Yes.
Yes. Not the police or the politician.
Yes.
Yeah, the politician has some role. He can set parameters.
Yes.
But if you take away we don't need to repeat yesterday. If you take away the discretion of the judge,
but
you're
you
making
didn't go as far as that,
mistake.
Because that I would agree with.
Yeah.
That if you create a base
yeah.
and set up a parameter that the judge
is guided by.
Yeah. Then I'll come with
but that's not what we're doing.
No, we're setting a base to say full stop.
Well, and that is
No, but doesn't it say 15 years minimum?
Yeah.
And then you go on to what?
Yeah.
That's what you would like to say. Remove the minimum and say to the judge. The judge might say, you really, Ronnie, some of them really had a hard time,
Mm-hmm.
Some of them out there really had a hard time. Mm-hmm. And when the judge hear it, sometimes tears come to their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that judge is now banned by what the politicians say. Mm-hmm. Whether you go and cry with him or whether him have a rough life, him have to go away for 15. Mm-hmm. You want that to be slackened, that the judge can say, look.
Don't like the word slackened, but to be made more constructive and more realistic by making
let's use the word realistic.
Judge. Sure, making
by
the judge.
giving the judge an opportunity to say,
the judge
I've examined you, and in real terms, I think I'm going to send you for 5 and 5 for rehabilitation.
And there's another thing too. When you have the minimum sentences, yes, as a cartoon in the Gleaner shows this morning, when you look at it later, all right, what you do is make people more desperate.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so what you do is to play to the people who stood before Pontius Pilate and said, we want Barabbas. And Pontius Pilate knew that it was a wrong decision, but he played to the people and crucified Jesus. The criminal, the gunman, is not Jesus, but he's a human person. Okay? And if you don't recognize him as a human person, yes, and there are people in Jamaica who don't. They think that they are the quintessence of humanity, but somebody else is not. We always demonize the wrongdoer, okay, and we should. But there comes a point where you have to rehabilitate, and if you don't do that, you are making your own situation worse at the very time you think that you are bettering or making yourself safer.
Hey, what that man does ball out in them beds, eh?
Yeah.
You have to rehabilitate the whole society.
Yes, sir. And so let's get about that. Now, we're not rehabilitating the whole society, no. We're making it worse. We're making it harder for the person to even buy basics like food. The dollar is 158 now, despite the fact that the Bank of Jamaica put in 20 interventions since January, and the exchange rate. When I asked one big banker on Sunday, where are we going with the exchange rate? He says it will have no floor because the balance of trade is weak, the tourism is down. Yes, all these circumstances. Yes, and people are fighting back. Your son, who wants to have a dominant agricultural program so that at least we can save the almost $1 billion US that is burning the foreign exchange to buy us food, where we are wasting the foreign exchange on the oil that we have to buy, the price gone out because we already have spent our capital on buying the baubles and bangles of the slaveholder. Yes, on the motor vehicles that clog up our roads.
Thousands clog up all over the place.
So when do we say to ourselves, as Charles and Thwaites are trying to do, look, man, come now, we don't see the consequence of our action. Come, we know we can't stop it tomorrow, but at least in the budget debate coming up next week, Honourable Pearnel Charles, yes, talk about the real things now. Talk about the things that are going to really confront this.
What would you be saying next week if the Minister of Finance says that we are unable to make available any additional foreign exchange for any more cars for the time being?
Yeah, we'd have to say it's a hard message, and we'd have to say, listen, no, that is exactly where we stand.
And you'd back him?
Yes, I would. The Cubans had to do it, and so what they did was to say, okay, all right, we're not going to get any cars because in their case the Americans block it.
Yes.
Okay, we have all of these 1940s, 1950s cars.
And I went there and said, pretty.
So, I know that's all.
And Jamaica have some good mechanic that could really make them.
So instead of
man want Chris car.
Yeah, but you see that. So that's where the head is wrong.
To get a Chris car.
Yes. So I asked a question.
And a trailer load of girl.
Right, sir.
What do you think? You want to drive your pretty car, and me drive an old car, an old Volkswagen, or old Morris Minor.
If I ever tell you my story on that, yes? one of the things that I admired about the late Keeble Aubrey, yes, when he was Minister of Agriculture in his first term in the 1950s. Yes, I was very young.
Yes,
but he was a cousin of mine, and I watched him. And he ran the Ministry of Agriculture out of the trunk of a Morris Minor.
Yes.
Yes?
Right. Why you go to the Morris Minor? My two boys are going to Campion, Peter and Pearnel. And they say some boys are driving car to school. And they would like to drive to school.
Yes.
Because the bus packed.
Yes.
So I said, all right, drive to school. And I went on to behind the stadium. I see a nice looking Morris Minor for $30,000. Two of them have license. I said, boy, I buy you guys a car, you know. And I buy the car, $30,000.
Yes.
Pearnel come home and they said, Daddy, guess what? Peter was driving behind some people. And it's a good thing there's a hole in the floor. Because me had to put my foot in the hole and press my foot on the tar for stop it. I say, look what I have done. I said, but guess what? You guys are driving car.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you want to drive car? Yeah. You don't want to take bus?
Well, this is rich.
It is a joke. He said, a
rich.
Good thing it didn't have any floor. I push him foot on the floor and press on the tar and stop the car.
And nothing to do with one turned Minister of Government, the other one is an esteemed doctor. Nothing to do them. And they learned they didn't have a Chris car in order to stop. The early rise.
And you can tell me about Peter, who's on the first class.
I can vouch for that.
Surgeon in Jamaica. And Pearnel.
Yeah. So you see, we have to have a different mentality. On the early rise, this is the bridge, a new day in Jamaica, a new beginning. Many rivers to cross.
Ronnie?
A theme song for you this morning, Pearnel Charles.
Some of the rivers are very deep.
Yeah.
Some you can't swim, but you have to cross.
Yeah.
And how do you going to get across a river when you cannot swim?
Do like what they're doing in Kiev in Ukraine right now. With the CNN tracker is telling us that you have thousands of people holding the Ukrainian colors and marching on what the president of Ukraine in the midst of acute danger to their national identity, calling a day of unity. When have we had that?
Yeah, but Ronnie, if
we
you
face
switch and go
danger.
there, somebody need to tell me what is the objective of the Soviet of Russia.
Yes,
they don't have a force in Ukraine that they said they want to replace this one with.
Yeah.
So what is the objective?
Well, I mean,
how are they going to take over the country? I mean, there are not two public sector in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Are they?
No,
So
I don't think so.
What when you march in there and you hold the president.
Well, they said they don't want marching there. That they're simply showing their strength, and that they want Ukraine to be neutral. Now we can argue that. What I'm getting at is that in the middle of that, the Ukrainian people are saying we have our own discrete unity. Don't trouble it. We will deal with who we want to deal with. Can Jamaicans do that?
Yeah, but don't you have the right to do that if you want?
Yes, I think so.
Luckily, and I go back to the day when we won the election with one seat.
Yes, sir.
And that the government that was there could say there are 3 seats that they need to review. So they're not moving until that review is finished. And that review could take a few. But the very night,
Yes.
and this is one of the things that one has to look back as a political science student. I never take my eye off of that.
No, and you're right. And we have to congratulate those who behaved in that way, and we have to congratulate those who responded. So no doubt that we have, but to me, that means we have something to build on.
Yeah.
No. All right. We've talked about the mentalities. We've talked about the guns. We've talked about, but there's a real problem that is facing our people. It's to do with the exchange rate, Mr. Charles. Let us be honest about where we stand. Despite the fact that the government has been using the net international reserves to prevent disorderly devaluation, we are not. There are limits to that, obviously. The currency is still devaluing with disastrous consequences to basic items that people have to have. And we are not producing enough for ourselves in order to save foreign exchange, in order to have exports to earn foreign exchange. Surely, we've said that our leaders need to stop dead, and this morning talk about the culture of violence and guns in the country. This is another issue. It's a related issue. The PNP are saying, seat, under your watch, the dollar is devaluing. Or the government is saying, oh no, don't worry, it's not so bad, or we're going to help you with Project Care, etc. But this situation is palpable in front of us. One hand, one side cannot solve it. One element in the society, government, business, unions, civil society, cannot solve it. We need more than a day of unity. We need entire structures of unified action to save our very food supply.
Yeah, Ronnie, there are some things that start with ABC. In other words, ABC before XYZ. That's all? So, my friend, answer me now. What America is having its highest inflation in 40 years.
Yes, sir.
Most of the stores are closing down.
Yes, sir.
A man is balling now, so that's America, man. Talk about Jamaica. Well, hold on, boss. I come in. If the society where things are that, my word, luscious, is down to nothing. Take us now. Where is the money going in Jamaica? Again, I go back to my wife who tell me that the baskets coming through is now half of what it used to be, and the price is the same. When you go to the place, you just put the same amount of money for the little. Now, regardless of what my son wants to say, it's not taxes alone, because from the very country that we are importing, the money has gone up. So we have to get more money to pay for that, or don't get it at all.
Okay.
So it is national and international.
So Minister says, and we appreciate it, that there are probably no new taxes this year. Hope so. But what I would love to see is a program that every available acre of land between Spanish Town and Osborne Store there's a plan to plant it out in some food that is capital, that is coming forward. The development bank says it has some money. Sagicor says putting in some money. Hope so. that every acre of land from Barton Isle in St. Elizabeth back to Little London in Westmoreland, similarly, okay, that just those. I would like Minister and to say, and opposition to agree, that look now, this year we have to do what is necessary to provide much more of our own food and much more for export.
Well, I heard him talk about food security. He frightens me.
Yeah.
As if he was being prepared for this.
Yeah.
He said, food security is being threatened by the internationally accepted thing called climate change.
Sure, sir.
He said, Daddy, we may have so much rain or no rain.
Okay.
Now, when you reach to that, both of them are extremes, but they add up to one thing.
Right.
If you have so much rain, you have no food.
Yeah.
If you have no rain, you have no food.
Yeah.
So
let
that
us,
is the security that you have to push towards. So you come in now and say, listen, put every acre of land that you can find.
Yeah.
And I say, the small man can dig well.
No, sir, but
so you need to bring in
the
big guys.
Okay, bring in. No,
who will
I'm with you.
employ the swarmers.
Hello, we know what to do, you know, sir. The big man can come in with his capital.
Yeah.
Government can make it more conducive for big capital to come in there.
Yes.
Not have Mr. Azan have to eat out.
Right.
Done him chase if he can done.
And I understand he has problem from the bankers that want to do
no,
that.
this is it. So you there's some structural changes in the financial system that have to take place. Big time. Okay? While the small man, maybe a black tank is what can help him, but he knows that if he have...
We could show all of that already.
Of course, sir. And we put it back. We put it back because we crave them and we believe and we allow people who feel, look here, I can bring in the red peas cheaper. I can bring in the chicken foot cheaper. I can bring in whatever it is that you need for school feeding. You don't have to go to the farmer because he may give you a wrong delivery or a bad price or something. Just give me the license now, please, and I will find the foreign exchange for myself. You know, I'll find it.
Let's go in the foreign exchange and tell you what happened.
Sure.
When you and I were boys,
right, sir,
there were 20 times more bicycle on the road.
Yes, sir.
Than now.
Right.
Every bicycle has been removed and 10 cars come out.
Right, sir.
So something has happened.
Yes. So
when you and I, 20 years ago, the American cars were on the street. Where 5 American cars were, 25 European cars are now.
Right.
Small cars, 25
Japanese.
more. Man stop take bus, man stop take this,
but Mr.
man
Shah,
drive him on. And Mr. Honis, I give him great praise. You have three level bridge downtown. You have Constant Spring in 4 lane. That was for not even a year. Mm-hmm. It is now back to bumper to bumper.
Okay, sir. So what we have done, there's a disease, you know, sir.
Eh?
There is an illness, a national illness.
But some people say that's improvement.
Of course.
Because more man have car now.
Remember my dear friend, our dear friend, the late Roger Clark? Yeah. You have one phone in your pocket, and another one, the next one you call and say, hello. Yes? Remember? Yeah. And everybody said, boy, this is it. Hello, sir. Look, all of those things are nice, you know, but there's a sickness called high chest. You know high chest?
Yes.
High chest can give you terrible indigestion, you know.
Yeah, but the high chest that you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Is a low chest for the politician.
Well.
Because anyhow the politician, right, say, boy, I want to bring down the chest to both your neighbor, you know. So him say, I may put you out.
So that is why it cannot
because I get back to what I told you. Power.
So it can only be dealt with if, in fact, it is a united front, where the other person is not going to say that to you, where, in fact, you go to the people and say, what you know, we are really in trouble, but we have a way out. One, we know the education system popped down. We're not going to tell you no lie about it, about virtual education working anymore. We are going to come together and say, listen, the picnic have to go back to school. Here is the way we're going to protect the picnic in school. Here is what we're going to have to do over in order to catch up. But
could I beg you to stop right there?
Yeah.
Because to me, that is the key right now.
Yeah.
Education,
Yeah.
and somebody has said it, I'm always trying to say it the way they say it.
Yeah.
Education is the way forward. If you have an education, you have 5 fingers on your hand.
Yes, sir.
If you don't have an education, you have a fist without finger, and you can't knock nobody.
So, I'm totally with you. There are other issues in the society to do with the size and efficiency of the public service, to do with the issue of crime and violence, to do with the question of mining, to do with the question of family life and structure.
All that can be solved if you have a good education.
Yes, sir. And if you have, and if you are not made to choose between one side and the other, and therefore you switch. Mr. Siaga have a wonderful idea about the regeneration of downtown Kingston. Spend all heap of money, put up the superstructure, just as an example, at Coronation Market. PNP come in and say, none of that no more. But I start something when I was in education about ending the shift system in schools. Yes. And getting parents to contribute as according to their means for education. Next man come in and say,
I heard it this morning.
Not on that.
And I want to say something that I think I said off the air to you. I spoke to the headmistress of a school. And she said to me, she is in trouble. I said, what happened to you now? I thought that was a monetary problem or something. She said that my children have returned at a certain age, like I think it's first A, B, and C or D. And they were all reading 2 years ago. They can't read now.
And so what are we doing?
Hold on.
Advancing them to the next grade.
She said to me, I have 2 teachers. One come in at 6 o'clock and take the children
from that grade.
From 6:30 to 7:30, and the other teacher come in and take them from 7:30 to 8:30.
God bless them.
Trying to make them start to read again. No, Ronnie, if that's a national problem, no, we're in trouble.
What about a national solution, sir?
Well, you better make us hotel next week.
No, but wait.
Because I don't know that I have, apart from sacrifice, call the teachers.
Suppose we said to them, look here now, go back to Mr. Siaga's program. They have a proper homework center. You know what my feeling is.
Yes.
My feeling is we should keep them in the grade they were and do the work properly and catch up.
Before you move them on.
But if you have decided...
I told her the danger in that. Because if you don't move them from grade 1, all who stand at the door coming in,
and
how they going to come in?
I appreciate the problem, okay? But you, in your school, learned a whole heap under the big tamarind tree out of the yard. There was a church next to your school, which church have space in it except Saturday or Sunday. Yes, you have church hall, you have a whole heap of people, whole heap of place for people. But you don't want to take the necessary steps because we are accustomed to sell ourselves short, provided it's not we get the short, but it's our next man get the short, and then we say sorry.
And the problem is, where my parents were satisfied with a class under the guango tree, and the teacher get one chair, stand up on the blackboard, right? These parents are not going to be happy. Here it's a fit and picnic. Not in the classroom. Them on the guango tree, stand up mosquito, bite them sometime.
Sir. That's right. And then the same parents will be satisfied, will they, Mr. Charles, when they dress up their children for graduation and it's pure dunce bath? Nonsense. We have to talk straight to ourselves. This is the Early Rise on the Bridge 99 FM. Join us for the public eye later on at midday today. Thanks so much for all those whose sacrifice and whose labor make this program possible.
Let us beg them to carry some national solution to add to us. If they think that we are wrong, tell us what way they think you and I representing a difference.
Yes. On the Bridge 99 FM. Till later.